But what we're finding out here, and is true across the nation, is that this particular card is becoming a favorite tool of scammers because it's a very quick method of transferring money into either their account, into their PayPal account, or onto their reloadable card. And it's virtually not traceable. So we thought it would be interesting if we had a couple of examples to bring to life these particular stories, because oftentimes the response is, well, wasn't it possible for these people to understand that this was a scam? And I think when you hear their stories, you'll understand that it's very easy to be duped by some of these scammers, because what they do very well. The other thing that we wanted to point out is how often these scams occur. Just since January of this year, we've had 41 calls from consumers that are complaining about being harassed by people to send them money. And that's 41 of 149 complaints that we've received so far. So that's almost 30% of all calls that we've received, calls, walk-ins, or complaints, have to do with people requesting money. And the reason this is important is because once you understand that MoneyPak is a favorite tool of the scammers, that when you hear that word, we're hoping that this may be your first indication or sure indication that this is a scam. So we wanted to educate you a little bit about those particular scams. So of the 41 calls that we've received about people wanted me to send them money, 16 of them specifically said send money via MoneyPak. And 5 of those people who received those calls actually sent money. And so there was a total of over $14,000 sent out at the county, we believe, simply using MoneyPak cards. So the first person we're going to ask to explain his story or what happened to him is sitting to my left, and his name is Chris, and would you mind telling everybody what happened to you?
Okay. Everybody, I'm Chris. I'm a supervisor for an aircraft company here in town. I got called about a month ago, something like that. I'd just gotten out of the shower, was getting ready for work because I work second shift, and a person that answered the phone, it was a local number, identified himself as a sheriff here in town, and he was processing a bench warrant for my arrest at the time for missing jury duty earlier that week. I've never served jury duty here before, I didn't know, and so he said that if I wanted to clear my bench warrant, then I would have to pay a $500 fine, and he asked me if I wanted to do that, and I'm like, well, what's my option? And he's like, well, then you'll probably get arrested at your work. So I'm like, well, I don't want to do that, so I guess I'll go along with it. And so I proceeded, he asked me if I had a mobile phone, and so I said yes, and so I gave him the number, and he called it. And then we did a 3-way call, and he hung up on my home phone. And he hung with me for the whole time until I got dressed and in my car. We went to the ATM, because he said I had to use cash only to buy this GreenDot card. And he told me I had to go to Dollar General, and he described, I had to tell him exactly where I was the whole time, because he said it was being recorded. So I thought the whole time I was talking to an actual sheriff. And I get out to once I purchased the card with cash, then went out to my vehicle, and he told me to read the numbers to him, which I did. And then I went through a little bit of a processing time, and he sat and we chit-chatted for a while, and I asked him, I said, what would have happened if I wouldn't have done this? And and he said, well, then you probably would get arrested, whenever they would come and get you. And I don't know, it was just it was an hour and 10-minute long phone call. He was very cool, calm.
Convincing.
Very convincing, yeah.
Don't be embarrassed. Let us know. I can't guarantee that we'll be able to get your money back, but hopefully enough people will see this that when they hear an FBI agent, somebody from the courthouse who claims you were there for jury duty, anybody from an insurance company. And let's put it this way, if someone calls you and says they need money from you, and they expect you to provide that to them by way of some prepaid card, a preloaded card, whatever. As she said, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. I cannot conceive of any governmental entity who's going to call you cold and demand money over the phone that's legitimate. Don't be taken in by it. Hang up and call us. At least give us the information. Maybe we can send out more of these messages to let people know not to be taken in.